Hello, PlayThenSayers. Today we're looking at Cubway, and as described by Armanaud, it's a journey with an abstract story of life cycle of rebirth called Samsara. Guide the cube through the long way full of dangers and difficulties, visit many interesting and mysterious places. From the look of it, I was expecting a puzzle game, but what it became for me was a reaction game, mixed with how quickly you can press the keys to move. You have to get the red square to the end of the level, avoiding contact with black areas by moving back and forth. So winning. The game looks so beautiful, with great use of shades, with the red to stand out. Even the thought of putting the shadows to the shapes gives the game added weight to the depth and threats created. At times I found myself acting slowly and cautiously, and sometimes just pure panic and hitting run, which all did seem to work at certain times. The difficulty curve is well covered. Over the levels I found each level getting harder, and each time with no mid-game spike to put me off, which you do get in a lot of puzzle games. The game continually evolves. As soon as you think you have one shape figured out, they throw some new behaviours at you, showing good imagination to make the most out of what is available to them. The sounds of the sounds of the underground. Sounds of the game worked great for me, with the continual soft background track laced with the occasional soft female vocals, in turn melds well with the positive and negative effects brought through simple, single notes. Sinning, I prefer logic puzzles, which I thought this would be, but the game turns into a reaction game and reminded me somewhat of the precision and pattern learning that we got from the Impossible game. One thing that did start to grate was the go-to problem of just having to move close enough to an object, as all this comes down to is how quickly and precisely you can push forward, and a few too many times this puzzle ruined the pacing of later levels for me, because it seemed to be a very early problem and one that didn't require knowledge or skill or to come over, just patient. So don't expect an abstract story, unless you want to read between the lines and try to add something on top of the game, as the names of the levels describe what could be a road trip, which you could define back to a secondary school level metaphor of a journey of life. I don't think the game needed a story, but one was offered and it didn't deliver for me. Overall, the game was a winner for me. It offered a nice challenge despite making me salty, but I think that's an endorsement of the game, as when I died, I felt it was all my fault.